Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the greatest recordings ever. And now that, as I mentioned before, it's the sesquicentennial of Ravel's birth, 150 fun-filled years, I think we need to get out of the way some of the best Ravel recordings so you can have your Ravel collection in order when all the new crap comes roaring out and we have to discuss it. And we'll have comparisons ready to hand. So today we're talking about Sheherazade, the song cycle. And one of the greatest recordings ever of that particular work, unquestionably, is this one. Elly Ameling with the San Francisco Symphony under Duparc. Now, when this came out, I think I was in San Francisco. Was I there? 81. Yes! Well, there you go. Yes, I remember that correctly. This came out when I was in grad school at Stanford, and I was spending a lot of time up in San Francisco watching the symphony at Davies Symphony Hall. And boy, oh boy, was this terrific. First of all, it was one of the better sounding Philips digital recordings. They did a couple in San Francisco after the new Rufati organ was organized, or whatever they do with it. It was dedicated. They did the Saint-Saëns organ symphony, and was it Telarc did the Jongen Symphony Concertante, and everybody was running around doing organ and orchestra things. But somehow that was a little bit later. Initially, anyway, we had Elly Ameling, who slid in unannounced to hang out with her Dutch colleague and record one of the most amazing French vocal music records you've ever heard in your life. I've done videos already about Ameling and about the Ameling boxes that have come out, because she was just an extraordinary, well, she is, she's still around, but when she was singing, just an extraordinary artist. The ideal leader singer. I don't know, she had a voice of such warmth, but at the same time, purity. It wasn't like wobble, wobble, wobble. It was gorgeously musical. She could phrase effortlessly. She was perfectly fine in 30 bazillion languages. She just sounded like singing was the thing she was born to do. And Sheherazade is, such a fantastic song cycle. It's oddly shaped. You have this big, long first song. Well, it's like 10 minutes or 15? Yeah, 10 minutes. Asia, Z, which is just a travelogue. It's I want to see this, I want to see that, I want to see these, I want to see those, I want to have one of these, I want to get one of that, I want, I want a suite, and then I want first class travel. I want, it's a travelogue. But then you've got two quiet, gentle songs, La Flûte Enchantée, the Enchanted Flute, and L'Indifférente, which is one of these sensuous, longing sort of things that the French do so well. To put it all together takes a certain level of artistry, which Ameling has, to her fingertips, or tips of her vocal cords, or whatever tips you want to choose. And boy, does Duparc just accompanies gorgeously. It's one of the best balanced, one of the most beautifully realized accompaniments of the work, too. Really, really extraordinary performance that you wouldn't expect. And she does a bunch you wouldn't expect, because it just sort of popped up out of nowhere, is what I mean. I expect Ameling to be fabulous, because she always is, just about. But wow, what a surprise this was. Pleasant surprise. And it also comes with two Duparc songs, the Chanson Triste and L'Invitation au Voyage. Of course, Duparc wrote, 5 songs and destroyed everything else he wrote. And if you've heard the other things he wrote, you understand why he destroyed it. Actually, that's not true. His symphonic poem, Leonore, is kind of fun. But basically, it's just a little handful of orchestral songs. And then also in here is Debussy's La Demoiselle Élue, which is not something that you hear very often. It just doesn't. The poet is by Dante Gabriel Rossetti, who, in a fit of romantic passion, had the poem buried with his girlfriend, who passed away, for whom he wrote the poem, and then he realized he didn't have another copy, so he had her body exhumed to get the poem back, which I just think is such a fabulously 20th century comment on a typically 19th century romantic gesture, isn't it? just fabulous. Anyway, it's another beautiful performance. It features, who is it, Janice Taylor, mezzo-soprano, with women of the San Francisco Symphony Chorus, which is always one of the great symphony choruses. And that's a beautiful performance as well. So this is just a fantastic disc. But the real treat is the Sheherazade with Elly Ameling. And I mean, wow. It's so gorgeous. I do want to point out, because I know some of you will mention it because you can't help yourselves, that there is, of course, the classic, iconic Régine Crespin Ansermet recording, which is also up there. And I did do a repertoire video on Ravel's Shéhérazade, because there are a lot of good ones. There's Frederica von Stade, there's a whole bunch of them. And I know Janet Baker did it. Yeah, it's no shortage of excellent versions of this particular song cycle. But, any one of which could be the subject of one of the greatest recordings ever discussions. But for me, Ameling is really special. She really is. And this is one of the great recordings of French song. And as the Ravel sesquicentennial gets hopping, you're going to want to have this in your library, I'm sure. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.